I finally got the battery pack back, and we're going to do our transmission rebuild here. It is 2:11 in the morning. I don't know if you've been watching the clock, but I've been here a long time. It's a Saturday. I think it's full moon. It's almost 70 degrees. And for our good friends in Europe, or non-American time, not the time, but the Celsius. Come on. Yeah, there we go. It's 20.7 degrees. If that was in American, that would be fucking cold. Okay. Now what we've got here, and I have a bearing puller here. If you want to learn how to pull bearings, I don't know why they have a bearing puller. This is the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen in my life for a ruckus. All you need is a hammer. Take it out. What they want you to do is to wrap a bearing puller around the bearing and then use a pointed bolt to push the bearing out. Okay, that will work. Yes, it will work. But I don't think that anyone here is going to spend the $400 for that tool when it's just as easy to do it this other way. If you want to get this spindle out, I call it a spindle. The only reason you'd want to do that, now it's not for the Ruckus, but it's for the Dio. If you get racing gears, it'll give you, well, let's put it this way. A Honda Dio or a Honda Elite going downhill at full speed with stock gears, stock transmission gears, in this little baby right here, or a European version called a Vision, will do exactly just about 48 miles an hour. And I don't know how many kiloliters that is an hour. Well, it's too late for even thinking about that. Anyway, if you want to get racing gears for your Dio, and I imagine they sell them for the Ruckus here, which will do you no good, because without a two-stroke motor that with a motocross crankshaft, long gears won't do you anything. And long gears are what will give you more, they'll give you more speed, but you'll have to kick off the bike with your feet for the first 20 miles an hour. What you do, like I said before, you tap the bottom here out with the mallet right there, and when you tap that out, spindle here and the bearing will come out with it. Alright, that's fine. Then what you want to do is you've got the spindle and the bearing. Let's just say spindle and bearing. You take the spindle and the bearing and you put them in a vise. You don't clamp anything down. You put one tooth of the vise here and one tooth of the vise over here, just to hold the edges of the bearing. You give this bottom portion here a couple of whacks and it'll come right out of the bearing, no problem. Now usually if you're going to increase your gears, you're going to have a spindle. I'll call it a spindle, alright? A spindle here, it'll be larger right here. This part will be larger. Maybe twice as large right here. And then we get over to our secondary gear, which is right here, which will come with the gear set. This will be smaller than stock. So you're going to have a larger gear up here and a smaller gear here. It's called a gear ratio. Why I say that is there's 6 or 7 different ratios you can get. Now that's the stock answer to increasing speed on your little motorcycle. Now remember, the power band, say you've only got 10,000 RPMs in your power band, okay? You've got 5 horsepower or 6 horsepower. It doesn't matter how big a gears or small a gears you use, that power band will not get any bigger or smaller. So if you have large gears, which you can do 120, 130, 150 kilometers an hour, you're going to have to push the bike with your feet for the first 50 kilometers an hour before it'll kick in. That's why with a Dio, when we use a racing crank of 50 millimeters or 52.5 millimeters, it changes the power band radically. That's where gears come in. You cannot use stock Vision or stock Elite gears or stock Dio gears with a stroker crank. You can't. The power band changes, you have to increase the gears. It just doesn't work. Now with a 4-stroke, it's completely different. 4 strokes, I don't know how it would work, because you can't increase the 4-stroke motor radically like you can a 2-stroke. All I'm explaining is how you can go faster by changing gears in whatever you want. And the reason I'm explaining that is because this transmission is almost exactly like my Dio or Elite rear transmission. Almost verbatim exactly. Next video.